Revenge films.
This is a story about an old cheapskate hag that I encountered after a fireworks show. The other day I went to a fireworks show out of town. My son, Jack, had just been accepted to the middle school that he studied for, and I wanted to celebrate for him. The middle school is a prestigious school, with an affiliated high school and college as well, so it was very popular and hard to get into. Jack would come home from elementary school and go straight to cram school, where he studied every day for 3 hours. We weren't a rich family, but we knew how hard he had to work to get in, so we were planning on this trip whether he got it or not, to praise him for all of his effort he put in. I dug into our savings and reserved the best seats to view the fireworks. It came with a buffet and an excellent view right up close.
Wow, this is awesome! I'd take those exams tests a million more times if I get to do this every time.
But starting the next day, a chain of strange events started happening. We always made sure to separate our trash properly, but for some reason, there were a bunch of bottles and cans in our trash, and the garbage men wouldn't take it for us. Then there was a bunch of trash scattered across the front of our house, and our mail was ripped and tossed on the ground outside. Some neighbors even brought over our torn apart mail that the wind carried near their houses. There was a time when our son's bicycle that was parked in our garage was punctured, and the vegetables were stolen from our garden in our backyard. Each event may have been minor, but it was distressing every time. Things were getting out of hand, so we decided to put up security cameras, and we spoke to the chairman of the Neighborhood Community Association. Actually, these kinds of things have been happening in various parts of the neighborhood for a while now. I'm sorry that we haven't fully investigated because no one was harmed yet, and we've refrained from making the information public because it would lower the evaluation of the entire neighborhood. But your case is getting quite extreme. The chairman agreed to put security cameras in places near the garage drop-off location as well, and we decided to wait and see what was going on. We found out shortly after that the perpetrator was an old lady in her 90s. She lived in a very old house. It was one of those creepy houses that the kids in the neighborhood would call a haunted house. We weren't that rich either, but I used to always feel bad for her because it was obvious that she wasn't doing too well from her house and the way she dressed. She didn't notice the security cameras at all. And we saw her bringing cans and bottles and putting them in our trash, and plugging her nose as she carried rotten trash over to our house and spread it across the front yard. She would bring pliers to reach into our locked mailbox to pull out our mail, which she tore to pieces and threw on the ground. Jack's bike was being messed with in the middle of the night, so the security cameras didn't get a good shot of her doing it. But we did catch her breaking into our garage with an ice pick in her hand, which was scary to see. She was in our garden often and would fill her bag up with stolen vegetables and walk off. Finally, I had the chairman join me to confront her at her house. When we spoke to her, we were both shocked at how out of touch with reality this old hag was. We moved into this part of town when my son was 2 years old. He was a very nice young boy and loved by our neighbors. On the other hand, this lady had moved into town all alone about 10 years ago and was always nagging at her neighbors, so everyone avoided her. She has continued to be alone thereafter. At first, everyone including ourselves felt bad that she was alone and used to greet her, but after this one time that she yelled at us for no good reason, we started avoiding her. Our boy was so empathetic though.
It's not her fault! That's just what happens when you get old. I know she'll open up to us, but we have to be nice to her first.
He would help take out the old lady's trash when she would complain about her back as well. So what happened then? Well, Jack was helping the old lady carry her groceries in and told her all about it, and she got jealous.
I'm sitting here all alone, and you guys are out enjoying family vacations? We were so poor. I could only enter my son into a crappy public high school. But you guys are sending your kid to a private school with an affiliated high school and college? I love fireworks and good food. I can't believe you didn't invite me. You guys have so many vegetables growing in your backyard. It can't hurt to share with a poor old lady like me.
I was speechless because her excuses and reasons were so left field. I was thinking about what to say for a while, but the chairman spoke first. "If you ever do anything like this ever again, I'll sue you for property damage, trespassing, theft, and obstruction of correspondence. You might be kicked out of this district as well, so you better stop now." He made her promise not to do anything like this ever again. I agreed to keep the police out of it if she paid for the damages done, and she took my offer. Early the next day, the old lady's son and his wife came with her grandson, so I let them in. The wife was a lady in her 40s and very elegant, and the old hag's son was such a gentleman, I couldn't believe that he shared the woman's genes. "I'm sorry for all the trouble that my mother has caused you." He bowed down deeply and handed me a gift with snacks along with an employee. "This isn't much, but please, accept this." "What's this?" "It may not be enough to cover everything, but I would like to compensate you for any damages that my mother caused." Once again, they all bowed down deeply. Even their high school son. "Don't worry about it. I've already been compensated by your mother. I can't accept this." I gave the husband the envelope back, and they all seemed very sorry as they bowed down deeply yet again. I noticed that their son was wearing the uniform of one of the best public high schools in town. "Wow, that's amazing! I can't believe you made it into that high school." "My father is a graduate from this school, so I've been studying to get in my entire life. I aspire to be like my father, sir." That's weird. The old lady said her son went to a crappy public high school. "Oh, by the way, I heard my grandmother was talking badly about my father's education. Is that true?" I told him exactly what I was told, and the husband seemed disappointed. "Oh, did she really say that?" "My mother has always been famous for being a cheapskate since I was a child. She always told me that she would never pay for me to go to a private school or college, so I studied really hard to get into that high school. After entering high school, I got a job and saved up money to go to college. But she made me give it to her, and she used most of it up. So I left the house and started living alone, and I got a college education online. I cut ties with her once around then. But I got back in touch when I got married because she seemed to have settled down a little bit. But after a while, it was the same thing all over again. She started nagging at my wife about money, so we decided to keep our distance from her. After everything that just happened, though, I don't feel comfortable letting her roam freely, so I promised to take her back in soon. After listening to her son's side of the story, I finally understood why she was all alone at her age. I didn't have any sympathy for her, though. The old lady ended up moving out of her district by her son. It didn't take long to find out that most of our minor cases of harassment in our town was caused by that lady.
That's what you all get for being so mean to me.
That was her reason. Finally, after 10 years, our town was peaceful again. Oh, by the way, that old lady wasn't poor at all. As a matter of fact, she'd been such a cheapskate all her life, she probably has more saved up than we do. At least, that's what her son told us. Well, I guess the devil's children have the devil's luck.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.